Wine Stories, a podcast to discover the world of wine by Etienne Pommier.
Do you know Cáceres? It's a mid-sized town, about 100,000 people, located in the province of Extremadura in Spain, in the far west of the country, close to the Portuguese border. Here, we are not in coastal Spain, with these long sandy beaches and resorts crowded with hundreds of thousands of tourists during the holidays. We are not in the big cities either, like Madrid or Barcelona. We are in the heart of Spain, a harsh and dry land of sierras scorched by the hot sun, with temperatures well above 40 degrees Celsius in the summer. There are tourists who come here though, from all around the world, but they don't come for the climate or the landscape. They come for the historic town. They come for the historic town, a city centre built in the Middle Ages and perfectly preserved until today. Inside the walls built by the Moors 1,000 years ago lies a unique architectural wonder with ancient Arabic buildings such as the famous Burjaco Tower or Gothic mansions dating back to the Spanish Renaissance. But the cherry on top is that no power lines, no TV antennas can be seen, for the local authorities have always wanted to keep the authentic historical feel of Cáceres Old Town, classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1986. In fact, you probably do know Cáceres, thanks to the many films and series that have been shot here. It is King's Landing in Game of Thrones Season 7, and it is also where Ridley Scott shot some scenes of 1492, his biopic of Christopher Columbus, amongst many other productions. And that is here, in this authentic movie set, that our story begins, Plaza San Mateo, number 1, in a beautiful medieval mansion made of ochre stones, the Hotel Atrio. It is late afternoon on this Tuesday, 26th of October 2021, when a charming Swiss couple, Mirak and Konstantin Golubich, walks in the hotel. She is young and elegant, in her 20s, blonde, with small black frame glasses. He is a little older, quite tall and strong, with short dark hair and steely blue eyes. The receptionist welcomes them with a smile and checks them in room 107. But if they have made the 3-hour trips from Madrid, it is especially for the hotel's restaurant, a 2 Michelin-starred table, one of the most famous addresses in all of Spain. They're excited to come back, for it's not the first time they come to Atrio. They were here twice in June, and then again for the summer season in August. Back in Cáceres only for the dinner and the night, they travel light, and the man only carries a backpack with him. Once they're checked in, they go up to the room to drop their bags, rest a little bit, and finally head down to have a few drinks at the bar before dinner. In the restaurant, they're welcomed by owner José Polo, who chats with them a few minutes, escorting them to their table. Tonight, they will go for the 14-course tasting menu, and having picked a few wines to pair with the feast, the service starts and the two lovebirds enjoy their evening. At the end of the dinner, around midnight, the sommelier proposes them to have a look at the wine cellar, one of Atrio's famous features, with its 45,000 bottles, including many rare items, that has earned grand awards from the Wine Spectator. After admiring the cellar, the couple thanks the staff and leaves the restaurant. Around 2 a.m., the phone rings at the reception desk and the night manager picks it up. A female voice asks him if it would be possible to order some snacks for room 107. "I am sorry, madam, but the kitchen is closed at this hour." "Oh, please, don't you have a little something just for a snack?" "Madam, I am very sorry, but our staff is off duty, and there is no more room service at this hour." "But I just want a little salad or a club sandwich, please." "Once again, madam, my apologies, but I cannot serve you some food at this hour." "I understand it is really late, but please, Can you make an exception? Listen, madam, since you really insist, maybe I can open the kitchen and see if I can prepare a little something for you. But will be just a salad, okay? Thank you so much, that's very kind. How long will it take? Maybe 20 minutes. A little annoyed by the request, the night manager goes to the kitchen to prepare a small salad for room 107. Pero vamos, what is this whim at 2 in the morning? La señora has eaten the 14 courses of the tasting menu, with the tuna, the jamon iberico, the pig's knuckles, and the chocolate desserts, and 3 hours later she wants a salad? I've been working for 8 years and no one has ever asked for this. A cup of wine, a tea or coffee, okay, but not something to eat. Pero bueno, tranquilo, this is a 5-star hotel, we take care of our clients, let's make the salad. And after bringing the salad to room 107 20 minutes later, the night manager resumes his shift at the reception desk in front of the video monitors. But 15 minutes later, the phone rings again, and this time, the lady in room 107 asks for a dessert. Exasperated by this new request at such late hour, the manager responds a bit abruptly that if the lady wants a dessert, there are apples in the kitchen. How long? Same as the salad, 20 minutes. And since she accepts, he goes down one more time to prepare a fruit plate and brings it up, hoping it's the last time he will hear from room 107 tonight. At dawn, the hotel is still asleep when the couple comes down to check out around 5 a.m., explaining that they have a change of plans that forces them to leave very early. They pay in cash for the dinner in the room, and as they walk out, after refusing to call a taxi, they ask the night manager if he could show them the direction to Sevilla. He escorts them out, shows them the way, and watches them quietly disappear with their backpack and 2 sports bags in the streets of the old city. Around 1 p.m., the sommelier starts his shift to prepare for tonight's dinner, and as he goes down in the cellar, he realizes that the door has been left open. Since there are some works going on in the hotel at the moment, maybe the boss went down for some reason. So he goes up to the office and asks co-owner Toño Perez if he has moved cases in or out of the cellar. Realizing instantly that something is wrong here, Perez goes down to the cellar and comes back up quickly, very pale, to go get his partner José Polo, who is on the phone with his office. When the 2 men open the cellar, José Polo freezes when he realizes that some shelves are empty and that dozens of bottles are missing. And, what is worse, the rarest bottle in the cellar has disappeared. The crown jewel of the collection the 2 men spent a lifetime gathering. A one-of-a-kind 1806 Chateau d'Yquem. A relic of the Napoleonic era, the year Beethoven premiered his Concerto for Violin in D major in Vienna. In tears, the heartbroken owners start counting the missing bottles while the sommelier calls the police. Overall, 45 bottles are gone, including very old vintages of Yquem from 1883, 1884, 1891, 1899, 1900 and 1901, as well as a vertical of 38 vintages of DRC Montrachet, including large formats, for a total over 1.6 million euros of wine stolen. The police arrive promptly on site, and quickly, the scenario of the robbery comes to light. The lady's phone call asking for room service at 2 a.m. was only a diversion to allow her partner to go down to the reception, take the cellar keys, and steal the bottles. But once in front of the cellar door, the thief realizes that he doesn't have the right key, and he gets nervous. If he gets discovered here at this hour, he's done. So he calls the room and asks her to order some dessert and give him another chance to get the right key. And while the night manager is in the kitchen slicing fruits, he grabs the master key, opens the cellar, and steals the wine in a matter of seconds. Once he's done, he quickly heads back up to room 107 before the manager comes back. Then, the two accomplices put the wine bottles in 2 sports bags and the backpack, using towels so they won't move or make any noise, and the hotel's security footage shows them leaving the room around 5 a.m. in line with the night manager's testimony. And now that they think about it, the hotel staff realizes that they only had a backpack when they arrived, and in the morning, they left with 2 extra sports bags. Obviously, they had prepared the theft and brought the bags folded in the backpack. José Polo also recalls that in the restaurant, the lady's hair looked a little weird. What if she was wearing a wig? What is certain is that the bottles haven't been picked randomly, since the thief knew exactly where to find them and acted very quickly. Checking the records, the police realizes that the couple had already been there 3 times in the past 6 months, obviously scouting the cellar and its security. But for the 2 hotel owners, if they are devastated and in shock after the robbery, what really breaks their heart is the old vintages, and especially the 1806, which, beyond their face value, are irreplaceable. José Polo explains it to journalists who come to interview him as soon as the news break out. What else has man created that's still alive after 200 years? How do you put a value on that? And he remembers, with tears in his eyes, the history of this bottle purchased 20 years earlier. It was on December 7th, 2000, at a Christie's auction in London, lot 264, a rare 19th century Yquem from a superb family cellar. Polo was ecstatic as he managed to get it for £6,380, a little under its lower estimate. A month later, he flew to London to get the wine and bring it back alongside the other lots acquired in the auction. A few days later, Polo is on the phone with his insurance company when the sommelier comes up and asks him if he can sort out the wines from the auction. The boss agrees, but a few minutes later, the sommelier comes back up, mortified, mumbling, "No way, a bottle's been broken. How did this happen?" By the look on the somm's face, Polo realizes instantly that the broken bottle is the one, the 1806 Chateau d'Yquem. When the sommelier grabbed the bottle to take it out of the cardboard box, the neck, probably very fragile after 200 years, snapped in his hands. Devastated, the crying hotel owner calls a wine merchant friend, who immediately asks him how much wine is left in the bottle. Since the bottle was upright in the box, most of the wine is still inside, and the merchant suggests calling the chateau immediately to ask for their advice. On the phone, the staff at Yquem recommends to transfer the wine into a clean Sauternes bottle and keep it upright and cold. On the next day, the restaurateur and his friend take their car to make the long drive to Sauternes and announce in utter shame as they ring the chateau's doorbell, "We are the 2 Spaniards coming for the broken bottle." After checking the wine's authenticity and condition, Alexandre de Lursalus and enologist Sandrine Garbet take a clean bottle and refill it with the leftover wine before signing and writing on the new label, "Reconditioned at Yquem on January the 25th, 2001 after an accident. The cellar master, Sandrine Garbet." At the same time, ashamed, grateful, and relieved, Polo will say later that he was still crying on the way back to Caceres. And it is this very bottle, so special to José Polo and Toño Perez, that the thieves took away. After the robbery, the 2 accomplices whose Swiss passports have been forged disappear. But at the same time, the Spanish police's investigations continue, and, thanks to their mobile phones, the detectives can trace back the thieves' steps. They managed to establish that the mobile number given by the women at the check-in got a call around 2:30 a.m. from another mobile registered under the same name and also localized in the center of Cáceres. The forensics gather DNA samples in the bathroom of room 107 and find two profiles, one male and one female. The male DNA corresponds to the man with the backpack, and it is already registered in Europol's database after an arrest for theft in 2008 in Portugal. The police also finds the car the two used to escape, and it is now clear to them that the fake Swiss couple is behind this robbery. The phone lines and DNA belong to a Romanian Dutchman named Constantin Gabriel Dumitru, and when they dig up his record, the Spanish sleuths realize that their suspect is a repeat offender. The scene takes place on Tuesday the 7th of May 2019 in the very chic Salamanca Barrel in the heart of Madrid, a stone's throw away from the Prado Museum, in a neighborhood of art galleries, luxury houses and designer stores. At 3:55 in the afternoon, a tall and good-looking man, wearing a long-sleeved shirt and a jersey despite the mild spring weather, walks into the Lavinia wine shop. The staff welcomes him, and after browsing for a few minutes in the store, the man asks to take a peek at the fine wines room. A staff escorts him to cava number 14, opens the fingerprint lock, and invites him inside. After checking some bottles, he asks sommelier Mónica Velasco to confirm the stock of a few items he's interested in, and eventually he chooses a 60 € bottle of Condrieu Laloy from winemaker Jean-Michel Gérin. They leave the secured room, and the man spends a few more minutes wandering around the store, chatting with the staff, before heading to the cashier. He leaves the store as another client walks in and disappears in the streets. A few minutes later, Mónica Velasco and her manager Juan Antonio Herrero realize that on the shelves of cava number 14, a bottle of premium whiskey is missing. A 40-year-old Balvenie single malt, the only bottle in all of Madrid, arrived just a few days earlier and listed at 5,250 euros. Watching the video surveillance tape, they clearly see Constantin Dumitru trying to move the camera in cava 14 before hiding the bottle under his jersey, while the sommelier was checking stocks on the computer. But instead of rushing out of the store, he took his time and hanged around for another 5 minutes before leaving. Even his exit was well planned. He waited for the exact moment another client walked in, so that at the detectives rung, he had two excuses. Either it was the client walking in, or the staff had forgotten to deactivate the security tag on the Condrieu bottle. Such analytical and cool-headed behavior suggested Juan Antonio Herrero that the man was a professional. But this composure and self-confidence would eventually get him caught a few months later. In August 2019, the man comes back to Lavinia and asks again to have a look at cava number 14. Mónica Velasco greets him and asks one of her employees to show him the fine wines. But she's recognized the thief, and discreetly, she passes her colleague a note. "It's the guy who's stealing from us. Stay calm and try to keep him there." While he's looking at the wines, she calls the police, who arrive just as Dumitru is about to leave, and they arrest him. Now, the police knows that their suspect is a professional thief who already operated in Portugal and Spain. They also find out that he is researched by the Swiss police for stealing fine wines from the Geneva airport duty-free, and was even arrested, then released, after the theft of 2 bottles of Romane Conti worth 40,000 euros in Madrid only 10 days before the Atrio robbery. But this time, he wasn't alone, and witnesses talk about a young lady of Latin origin as well. So who is this woman? Her name is Priscilla Lara Guevara. She's a 29-year-old Mexican national whose claim to fame is to have participated in the Miss Earth beauty pageant in the state of Mexico in 2016. The following year, she came to Barcelona to study acting, and she met on the beach a tall and handsome window cleaner named Constantin Dumitru. Finally, after 1 year running across Europe, they are eventually caught by the Croatian police at the border as they were trying to enter Montenegro. They are immediately extradited to Spain and arrive in Madrid on August 3, 2022. The police seizes their mobile phones and discover conversations between Dumitru and another man talking about how difficult it is to hide the bottles and that maybe he should swap them for a Mercedes luxury SUV instead. On October 28, 2022, while awaiting trial for the Atrio robbery, Dumitru is sentenced in Madrid for the 2019 robbery to 1 year in prison and the reimbursement of the whiskey bottle. In March 2023, Constantin Dumitru and Priscilla Lara Guevara appear in front of the Provincial Court of Cáceres for aggravated robbery. After cooperating a little with the police during the investigations, they both decide to plead not guilty and stay quiet during the trial. But the evidence is overwhelming. In a final address to the judges, defense attorney Silvia Córdoba asked the judges to ignore the media stories about this case, as well as Dumitru's background. My clients aren't Bonnie and Clyde. They are Constantin and Priscilla, a happy couple traveling across Europe, and they have nothing to do with this case. At the end of the trial, the accused is the last one to speak, and he addresses the court with defiance, blaming the hotel for not having security cameras in the cellar, but still denying that he is the thief. The culprits are eventually sentenced to 4 years in prison and the payment of 750,000 euros to the insurance company who has compensated the hotel. They file an appeal that is rejected on May 11, 2023 by the Extremadura High Court, and they are now both in prison. So the case is closed. The victims have been compensated, and the culprits arrested, trialed, and sent to prison. But if you have followed me closely, one mystery remains unsolved. Where are the bottles? When Guevara and Dumitru got arrested in Croatia, they didn't have the wine with them, and the flat they used to rent in Madrid before leaving in a hurry after the Atrio robbery was empty. In spite of many questionings, neither the police nor the judges managed to make them confess what happened of the wines. Dumitru only mentioned to an officer off the record that he had sold several bottles to a Russian collector, but not the 1806 he came. It's my life insurance, my retirement plan. But for José, Polo and Toño Perez, the Atrio owners, the police didn't catch all the culprits. In an interview to The Guardian published on May 20th, 2023, José Polo told journalist Sam Jones, "Right from the beginning, I thought that they were hired to do this. The dangerous ones are the ones who hire them. If they say nothing and end up in prison, I think that will prove that I am right. If they speak and cut a deal to return the bottles and get a reduced sentence, then I'm wrong." Since the two thieves haven't talked, it appears he was right. What is certain is that the now world-famous bottle of 1806 Chateau d'Yquem is impossible to sell through legit channels, and I sincerely hope that any collector, trader or merchant who would hear about it would immediately inform the proper authorities. With the exponential increase of wine prices on the secondary market, wine theft in private or restaurant collections is on the rise over the last few years. Another case occurred in Spain in recent years, with a robbery in Madrid on the 1st of November 2022 of 100 bottles of fine wines in the restaurant Coque for a total of 150,000 euros. In France, and right here in Savoie, it is the 2 Michelin-star chef Jean Sulpice who was robbed in 2018. On the night of February the 6th, thieves broke into the cellar of the Auberge du Perez in Talois and left with 250 bottles of Grand Cru before raiding other establishments. Fortunately, the police could find the bottles and arrest the gang who got sentenced to prison by the Court of Annecy on May 31, 2022. Unfortunately for José Polo and Toño Perez, their bottles have never been found. But on the bright side, their life work and efforts were rewarded in 2023 when Atrio received 3 stars from the Michelin Guide. Now, José Polo has moved on and reflects on what they have achieved rather than what they've lost. We've achieved our life's dream. If you were to ask me whether I'd prefer the 3 stars or the bottle back, then I don't know. But we've got the 3 stars and the story of the bottle is ours.